All right, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. So I'm going to be finishing up this particular part four, part B of God showing me the heart of my family and friends. So I'm going to just pick up for where I'm at. For those who do not know me, you are watching Christ-Centered Conscious Culture, and my name is Melanie Prophet and daughter of I Am That I Am. So I'm going to get right into it. I'm going forward. We're talking about the other friend that I kind of grew closer to in regards to she was having marital issues, and so was I. So we started to confide a little bit in each other. And it was things that I opened up to her about, probably now that I think about it, way too transparent. But like I said, when I deem somebody a friend, I can be very transparent. I'm a very transparent person. But throughout this season and throughout this journey, God has talked to me about having a spirit of discernment. And I've definitely, oh my gosh, definitely grew in that. And not everything is to be exposed to people, because what happened was I was finding out some of my friends with my BFF and the person I'm about to talk about as well. It was in a space where God was kind of giving me unctions this is after the fact, that I was being transparent and open. And I wouldn't say they wasn't being open as well, but I was giving way more information than what they were. And I think they were both holding back different things and wasn't saying everything, and I was saying everything. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing about me, it is what it is. It's like, I mean, it wasn't no shame in it. I mean, I felt hurt and pain and stuff like that, but I felt like, well, this person is going through something, I'm going through something, I want to encourage them, and I'm getting encouragement by expressing myself, and then also being able to be a listening ear for somebody else. But that's not always the wisest thing to do, and I've learned that now. But getting into this particular friend, like I said, she was younger. She was one of the friend groups that married earlier than all of us. She was married before all of us, right? And I want to say she was about the youngest, one of the youngest ones there. So time had went on, and she was going through some marital things. And the one that I was telling you, one of her friends was the one that we used to kind of chill on the weekends and stuff like that. The one I was in college and stuff like that. That was her BFF and stuff. So it got to a place where I think she was confiding more in me, because that person, she hadn't got married and stuff like that, and I was married. So sometimes when it's not like personal, but it's more about experience. You know what I'm saying? I was married, going through stuff. She was married, and she was going through stuff. So we confided in each other. And like I said, we did that for a while and stuff like that. And then eventually, time had went on. Then she was the second person to leave the church, that we were pretty much at. So by this time, I had invited her to my church and stuff like that. And we had did certain things together. We'd go out a little bit here, and then by that time, I was when we first was kind of conversing, we would kind of get up and meet up and go out to eat and kind of talk and stuff like that. And she would give updates, I would give updates, and we both were pretty much trying to figure it out, trying to express one of those, things to each other, but also giving space for the Lord to work it out. We wasn't both just making, abrupt and brash decisions. You know what I'm saying? So it was just one of those things that we were kind of like seeking the Lord on. But I would say for me, I could have sought the Lord way more than I did versus just doing too much talking. You know what I'm saying? I'm a very expressive person. But like I said, I've learned to the importance of knowing what to say and what not to say, and holding some things back as well. Not everything is meant to be known, even if you feel like it's your friend. And I've learned a lot too about marriage. Some things just needs to be a part of you and the person that's in the marriage, and that's just 100. Everybody can't do really ultimately anything about it. You and the person that's in the marriage. Now I will say this, and I was saying this to a friend, a family member at the time. They was coming to me for some advice, and I was just saying one thing about it. I feel like now, what I wish I knew then, what I knew now, is that when you are in a marriage like that, I feel like the couple should have a couple that they really both value and respect and hold in high regard, and that couple needs to be a godly couple, somebody that's endured lessons and different things and stuff like that, but that can hold both the husband and the wife accountable. And it's not one that's going to be sharing gossip and saying this and saying that and going here and going there. You know what I'm saying? And that sometimes the wife can talk to the wife on certain things, the husband can talk, but it shouldn't be a secret. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's almost like, going to the elders, you know what I'm saying? Back in biblical times in Old Testament, they took matters to the elders and allowed the elders to ultimately navigate and do the proceedings of how to really deal with a matter, you know what I'm saying, or matters at hand, you know. So there's structure and leadership and order and how to do things. And I feel like when I was going through some of those things in my marriage, I couldn't really necessarily go to the people in the church because, like I said, it was an unhealthy environment. And if you said something, your stuff would be blasted all over everywhere. And that's just 100. And like I said, there's no shade or nothing like that. That's just facts. So a lot of times we really couldn't go for godly counsel. We were